How's it going, guys? Hunter here from Outdoor Grinds. Today on the gear breakdown, we're going to be talking about calls, and specifically during talking about these calls, we're going to be talking about my favorite grunt tube, the Illusion Systems Extinguisher. This call is phenomenal. For years, I've always been obsessed with calling to deer, trying to call deer in, bring them in closer to me. And once I picked up bow hunting, it became that much more important to be able to get deer in close. I have experimented with probably close to 20 different grunt calls to this point, not including ones that I grew up with, passed down from generation to generation, but ones that I have bought. And there's no call in the market like this. This call is phenomenal. First of all, you got the actuating slider right here, so I can start down here on buck, and then if I need to, I can throw in a couple doe bleats in there, or doe grunt maybe. And then during that early season, my favorite is this fawn call. Whenever I'm trying to go out on doe management hunts, and I can see a doe out there in the distance, she's got a fawn with her, and they're not working in towards me, but they're kind of just feeding around in the area. Throw out a couple fawn bleats, and you'd be amazed how many times I've just pulled a doe right under my stand, and they'll stand there. There's a hunt last year where I shot a doe, wounded her sadly. We were not able to find her. She is still alive. Just saw her the other day. But I had the fawn come bust in right under me after I'd hit a fawn bleat, and she turned around and ran back out, and I hit the fawn bleat 3 times, and the doe turned and walked straight in at me. The amount of times where I've called just any deer, my buck from last season out here in Virginia, Extinguisher. Several other times last season, Extinguisher. Years ago, Extinguisher. And this call, year after year, has been one of the best performing calls and one of the most consistent calls that I've ever used. And it all comes down to just the slider technology. I mean, I can imitate groups of deer. I can imitate, that buck chasing the doe through the woods and breeding grunts, and then go into an estrus bleed immediately, because with a lot of calls you got to sit there and you got to take them apart up there in the tree. You're just adding movement, you're adding time, and then I'm going to throw out those couple doe bleats, and then I got to go back in and I got to bring it back down and go back into my buck grunt and then bring back up to my mouth. And but with this thing, I mean, I can go straight up into my doe bleat. It's that fast, and that little amount of time, it just sounds that much more realistic, and you're going to be drawing in these deer. The buck that I shot last year, I grunted him in and rattled, but the grunt tube is what gave him that illusion. He heard what he thought was fighting, and I'm sure that got him to come in just a little bit. But I had another little buck that was in front of me that had ran through, and whenever I first saw him, he was actually standing at the edge of the field that I was hunting and looking at the little buck. The little buck was looking back at me, and I saw the bigger buck, grabbed out the grunt tube, hit 2 grunts, and he came straight in at the stand. And I shot at him at 30, right over his back. I was ready to throw my bow out of the stand at him, regained my composure. He bounded out to 50, turned left, started to head back out the way he came, and I grabbed my call and I hit the grunt tube one more time, and it piqued his curiosity just enough for him to turn left and give me a 15-yard broadside shot right behind me. I had no idea I was there. These grunt tubes are phenomenal, and the amount of times that they've given me opportunities that I would have never had if I had a different grunt tube in my pack is outlandish. They are a great company. They offer tons of different stuff. They offer black racks. They offer the Extinguisher call. They offer a Scentaway system called Phase. Fantastic stuff as well. They offer windicators, all different kinds of stuff that you guys are able to use to take that level, that grunt tube that you've used for 15 years that your grandpa bought you, and you love that grunt tube, but it's coming to the end of its life. It doesn't sound the same anymore. Or if you're like some people that I know that just throw their grunt tube in their pack and forget about it, and next year they go to pull them out and the grunt tube just now all of a sudden it sounds like a duck call. Extinguisher. You can buy the reeds for these things on their website. New reed put into it, good as new. It takes 2 minutes to replace the reed. These things will withstand the elements. My dad dropped one out in the woods 2 years ago. Picked it back up literally almost a year later, and it still made noise. The noise wasn't right. Obviously, it had sat out in the woods. It had sat in the elements for a year. But it still made noise, and with a little bit of reed replacement, that call is good as new. You can keep using that call, have no problems, and these calls just work. You can call a deer in from way out there, a deer that you may have never even gotten an opportunity at, and you call them right below your stand almost every single time. And the best part is, a lot of these companies, they don't show you guys how to use their calls. You get their grunt tube, and you look at the back of the package, and it's like, just blow into the end of it, and it's going to make a noise. And you're like, okay, cool, like, I can call the deer now. You go out there, and you get guys that sound like this. They go out, and they're... That's not natural. It's not. There's some guys that are going to tell you it is. It's not. But with these extinguishers, you can also go on to the Deer Society on YouTube and watch full-length videos, 45, 50-minute videos, breaking down just the fawn call, or breaking down just your doe calls, or breaking down bucks, or breaking down the snort wheeze. There's all this different stuff, this plethora of information that they've put on one spot where you guys can go in there and watch it and learn exactly what time of the year do you want to be using different calls. And that has completely changed the way that I hunt. I used to be the kind that I wanted to go rush in there right where the deer were, get them right out of bedding, right at first light. And now I am willing to sit 50, 60 yards off of bedding, 70 yards off of bedding, even up to 100 yards off of bedding, because I know as soon as I see that deer and I pick up my extinguisher and I hit that call one time, within 5 minutes I'm going to have that deer right under my stand ready for a shot almost every single time. And you will fool deer with these things. They will not know what you're doing. They won't know what you are. They're going to think you're another deer. The buck that I shot last year that I was just talking about a minute ago, he came in all flared up. Every time that I saw that deer, flared up, ready to go. Whenever he came in, he was flared up. Before he came back into the camera, he was flared up. He was looking for a fight because he thought there was another buck down there that was challenging him, and he was not going to have that because that was his turf. These calls work, and I will stand by these calls. This is the call that I'll probably use for as long as I can. I absolutely love this call. My dad loves this call. Other people I know love this call, and this is like one piece that's in my pack that I never leave my home with. It goes into my binocular harness right here on the side. Every single day that I'm out in the field, this is how my call is carried. It's right here, easy access. I can pull it out, go straight to work, and I know that it's going to work every single time. I highly recommend that you guys go check out Illusion Systems, not just for their grunt tube, the extinguisher, but for any other of your guys' needs that they may have out there for you. Their link is going to be down in the description. Thank you guys for tuning in again. This is Hunter again with Outdoor Grinds. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know down in the comments what other kind of gear you guys want us to break down for you guys to watch. With that being said, you guys have a good one.